We're going to begin tonight with the trial of Sean Combs. A jury of 12 seated this afternoon. Opening statements were brief before the first witness was called.
A whirlwind day in Lower Manhattan. We have multiple reports outside the courthouse tonight, beginning with Eyewitness News anchor Mike Marza. Mike?
Sandra and Sade, defense attorneys right now are cross-examining a male escort who says that he was paid to have sex with Sean Diddy Combs' then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in graphic detail. We'll describe a little bit about what has been playing out in just a moment. But to set the scene on what is happening here on day one of the Sean Diddy Combs trial, people from all over the world, of course, interested in this case, and that is reflected by so many cameras. Dozens and dozens of reporters have descended upon 500 Pearl Street to cover the happenings. This, again, day one, and one of the most dramatic points was this infamous video from 2016. It was a hotel surveillance video that captured the assault of Cassie Ventura. Diddy later apologized, and today we heard from the LAPD officer who came upon the pair in the hotel in LA after Diddy assaulted Ventura. I mentioned the graphic detail of the testimony that has been happening, particularly with the second witness. Eyewitness News reporter Kemberly Richardson has been following along. Kem, I mean, so much of this we can't even describe to an evening audience here, but it's painting a picture, at least from the prosecution, of what Sean Diddy Combs was doing outside of the cameras in the stage.
Exactly. The first two witnesses for the prosecutions gave a window into Sean Combs and how he allegedly lived his life behind closed doors. Daniel Phillip, that escort, says he showed up to a swanky hotel in Manhattan where he thought he was doing a striptease for a bachelorette party. He testified instead Cassie Ventura opened the door and he saw a man sitting on the bed that he later found out with Combs. He spotted baby oil and lubricant. He told jurors this was the first of several sexual encounters between the three in which Combs directed the action. He said he was paid between $700,000 and $600,000 each time, and witness violence that he says came out of nowhere. One time he says, quote, Mr. Combs walked over to Cassie, grabbed her by the hair, dragged her to the bedroom, and what I could hear sounded like him slapping her. This afternoon, the Combs family, including 6 of his 7 kids, walked back into federal court in Lower Manhattan. Once inside courtroom 26A, they sat roughly 12 feet from Sean Combs on day one of his federal racketeering and sex trafficking trial.
He's definitely participating in his defense, I think, as you would expect most defendants to. Nervous is something I would describe, but he seems somewhat hopeful seeing the people in that courtroom.
The jury is now set, 8 men and 4 women. First to take the witness stand, Israel Flores. In 2016, the LAPD officer was working security at a hotel when this now infamous altercation unfolded. Flores testified when he got off the elevator on the 6th floor, he saw Combs in a towel that he gave him a, quote, devilish stare, adding Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, looked, quote, scared. Flores said when Ventura mentioned she wanted to get her phone, bag, and leave, Combs told her she was not going to leave. The officer followed the pair back to a room, and while outside in the doorway, he said he noticed a, quote, male, black, wearing dark clothing, sitting at the corner of the bed. Combs listened stoically. Flores told jurors after Ventura left, Combs called to him, quote, he was pretty much holding a sack of money, and he said, here, take care of this for me. Don't tell anyone.
For the government, they laid it out in their opening statement, this is part of a freak-off. This was Sean Combs using force to manipulate her back into a freak-off, to silence her, to, as they say, allegedly bribe individuals to make sure that video didn't see the light of day. But the defense is taking a very different look at this, and even the entire case.
In opening statements, the defense called the video, quote, dehumanizing, adding it was a fight over a phone. The team acknowledged Combs does have a temper, but pointed out, quote, there was domestic violence, but that is not sex trafficking. As for the so-called freak-offs or Wild King nights, allegedly drug-filled sex parties that went on for days, Combs' attorneys downplayed them, saying their client led a swingers lifestyle, that the gatherings were consensual threesomes. And we do expect to see Cassie Ventura on the stand. It'll be the first time she comes face to face with Combs since 2018 when Ventura attended Kim Porter's funeral. Porter was Combs's ex and the mother of 4 of their children. Testimony, we understand, has wrapped here on day 1. That's what's happening inside the courthouse. Outside the courthouse, Mike, we just saw some action.
Kim, just about 10 minutes ago, we saw Cassie Ventura's husband walk right by our camera position here. I asked him how did he think it went in there today. He did not respond, very stoic, and he got into a vehicle and was led away. But you have to think about what's going through the minds of not only her family as she is set to take the stand next, but also Diddy's family. We know his 6 kids were in the gallery today along with his mom. He blew kisses to them, and at one point he asked for more water. Certainly a heavy day here on day 1. Kemberly, Richardson, thanks so much.
Sure.
We mentioned the jury, 12 people, 8 men, 4 women, a mixture of people from Westchester County, the Bronx, and of course Manhattan. And coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk about how the jury is going to play a huge role, obviously, in the outcome of what happens here. Retired District Attorney Michael Bachner will be joining us for a live conversation. And then we invite you to join us throughout this trial and stay up to date with what's happening. There's a live blog, a real-time blog of all the day's events. And if today's any indication, so many developments happen by the hour. You can do that at ABC7NY. And then we'll have a streaming special. That is tonight at 6:30. We'll recap all of the day's happenings inside court here on day 1 of testimony in the Sean Diddy Combs criminal trial. Sade and Sandra, we'll send it back to you.
Wow, what an explosive first day. Okay. Thank you so much, Mike. And we want to